Hi, my name is Catherine. Welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I will share with you a sew along for Butterick B6859, and we will be doing view C for the most part, but because I didn't have sufficient fabric, we will do the sleeves for view B. That is the only alteration that we would make to the original pattern. So I would have had a sew along for view E, but unfortunately I lost all of my footage. So cut out your pattern, transfer all your markings and your notches, and meet me at the sewing table. For this pattern, I would have cut out the size medium. The fabrics that I would have chosen for this particular project, I used a light scuba as well as some scrap double brush poly that I had. So come, let's sew together. And we will be following with a sew along for Butterick B859, and we will be making view C, which is the top that the model is wearing. The different pattern pieces that we need are piece 4, which is the back, and you are going to cut this out on the fold. Piece 3, and that is the front, and you are going to cut that on the fold as well. Piece 2, which is the back, the sleeve back, and you will be cutting out 2 pieces. Piece 1, which is the sleeve front, and you are going to cut out 2. Piece 7, which is your lower band, and you are going to cut out 2. And last, piece 5, which is your neck band, and you are going to cut 1. So now that we have all of our fabric pieces, let's get sewing. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do, 2 rows of gathering stitches from this marking here to the next marking. We're going to do 2 rows of gathering stitches in between there, and we're going to do that for both sides. So let's do that now. We are going to use the largest stitch on your sewing machine, and mine goes up to a size 4, but you can always resort to your instruction manual for your machine. So we're going to stitch between the 2 dots that you should have transferred. Normally I would tell you to back stitch at the beginning and at the end of your stitching, but in this case you don't want the back stitch because you want those threads to be able to pull in order for you to create the gathers. So you're going to go from dot to dot, and you're going to stop, and you're going to pull, and you want to make sure you have some thread hanging in order for you to create your gathers. Okay, you're going to do that for both sides. So let's do that now. Now that we have all the gathering stitches in for all of the different sleeves, now we are going to move on to the next step, and that is to attach the sleeves, the front sleeves, to the front of the top and the back sleeves to the back of the top. Now, in order for you to figure out which one is the top, which one is the front, and which one is the back has 2 notches, whereas the front will just have 1 single notch. So that is how you can tell the difference between the back and the front, so you don't get confused. So make sure you match up your notches. Now you see all of this. This is the reason why you put the gathering stitches. So you're going to use the gathering stitches to ease all of that into that space, and you're going to do that for both sides. Okay, so all you have to do is pull on the top threads. Make sure you separate the top from the bottom, and just pull and ease that into place. Just keep pulling. Make sure you don't pop the thread, because if you pop the thread, you will have to start from scratch. So don't do that. Just ease it into place. And see, I popped my threads. Oh no, I didn't. I thought I did. Just ease it into place and keep checking. Keep checking as you go. Make sure even it out. Okay, so we're almost there. Almost there. And we're going to even it out. I'm trying not to pop my threads because I don't feel like doing this whole process over. And notice, you see there? But let's just straighten it out a little bit so that we'll have a cleaner finish. We don't really want any bulk in one area, so let's just adjust it. So keep adjusting until you ease all of that in there. Keep going, keep going. Okay, we're almost there. Just take your time. Okay, so I just need to fix my threads. I'm trying not to pop anything. I just want it to be not isolated in one area. Okay, I think that's it. So now we are going to pin this down. Use as much pins as you think you need. We're going to adjust this as we go. And we're going to do that for all of the other front and the two backs. So I'm going to do the same exact thing, and when I'm done, I'm going to come back, and then it will be time for us to sew this together. Now that we have all of our gathering stitches in place and we have all of our pieces pinned, let's now put it together. Let's go ahead and sew it. Make sure that you change your setting on your machine. Father, let's get through this. Using a 5/8 seam allowance. Let's do that now. Back stitch at the front, beginning and at the end. The devil is busy tonight, y'all. He doesn't want me to get through this, but God is bigger. God is greater. I declare victory in Jesus' name. Amen. So now that I have already stitched all 4 of my front 2 sleeves to the front of my garment and the back sleeves to the back of the garment, we will now move on to the next step. Okay, hang on. Okay, so now that we have the sleeves attached to the front and the back of our top, we are now going to sew the sleeves on both sides. The front, we're going to attach the front and the back sleeves at the side, and we are going to attach the side seams. So let's pin this up and get this ready to take to the machine. Make sure that your seams under your arms are matching. You want to make make sure that they are lined up properly, and we will make sure you line up your match up your notches. Let's push the machine back. Okay, make sure you have lined up your notches. Continue to pin until you have everything pinned together. Now that we have our side seams and our shoulders pinned on both sides, we're now going to take this to our sewing machine, and we are going to sew them using a 5/8 of seam allowance. Okay, so we have now sewn one side. We're going to do the exact same thing to the other side. So this is what we are looking like so far. With our sleeves sewn front and back on either side. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim this. Trim that to 1/2 inch, not a 1/2 inch. I am going to trim this to 1/4 inch, the same way I have trimmed these, the sleeves, the actual sleeves. And I will also trim the side seams. I'm going to trim them down to 1/4 inch. And then we have a few more steps to go. We have the neckband to complete. We have the to hem the sleeves, and then we have to attach, well, sew and attach the bottom band onto the top. So let me go trim down the stitches. I will be back to show you the next step. This is what we have left to do. We have the neckband that we are going to stitch, and we also have the actual band for the bottom of the top. So I'm now going to stitch both of them using a 5/8 inch seam allowance. Let's do that now. Sew the last one, the other side, and then once we finish that, we're going to fold it in half. Now that we have both the band sewn on both sides and we have the neckband sewn, now we're going to turn them in half. Let's clip that. I guess I had to choose the dullest scissors I own. Well, of course it's my paper scissors. Okay, so we're going to turn this. On itself. Then we're going to put a pin there and we're gonna keep going until we get it together. Okay, so we're going to quarter it. Okay, so that's one pin there. We're going to put another one on the other side, and then we are going to take those two and put it together. Make sure it's lined up, and then we're going to put a pin here as well as here. So now we have it in quarters, and we're going to do this. We are going to do the same thing. So it's in quarters. We're going to do the same thing for the top itself. So now this is the band. I'm going to roll it over itself. Make sure that my seams are matched up. I'm going to do that. Make sure you match up your notches. And you're going to keep going around until you have them both together. So at this point, your wrong sides should be kissing. So this is how your band is looking, and this is how your neck band should be looking. We're going to pin our band to the garment itself. So we are going to pin at the side seams, matching. So matching side seam to side seam. Let's take out the pin. And we'll do the same for the other side. So matching side seam to side seam. Open it up. So matching seam to seam. Let's put a pin there. Take out that pin. It's already there. And we're just going to continue to go straight around. Make sure you line up your notches. Okay, so that's a notch right there. So line up your notches first, and then you can pin everything else after that. Band is a little bit smaller than the garment itself, so as you sew, you will stretch that into place. You will stretch the band and not the garment itself, not the top itself. So you will stretch the band as you go to ease in all of that. We are going to now sew the band to the top using a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Remember to back stitch at the beginning and at the end. So now my band is attached to my top. I will trim this down to a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to top stitch a 1/4 inch away from that edge, so a 1/4 inch right here all around. Then I'm going to attach the neck band. I'm going to hem the sleeves, and when I am done with all of that, I will show you the make. That brings me to the end of the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below this video. I will see you in the next video. Be blessed.